Yemeni activist and assistant professor at Michigan State University, and she joins us live from Lansing in the US state of Michigan. We've heard before from various reports that both sides in the Yemen war could be guilty of war crimes. So what difference is it this time around with this latest UN report?
Well, it's not just both sides, it's multiple sides. There are multiple actors in this war against the people of Yemen. And unfortunately, nothing seems to have changed in the last 4.5 years other than more destruction, more starvation. So a report like this is really important. It highlights the urgency of extricating ourselves from this war in Yemen. But it also just repeats what we already know, that the people of Yemen are suffering at the hands of multiple countries, multiple actors, and they continue to be bombed in their homes, in their schools, in their hospitals, in their weddings. They continue to be denied aid. They are under blockade. The airports continue to be shut down. So it just highlights the urgency of really finally moving away from supporting the Saudi-led coalition.
And the report goes on to say that Western countries like the US, UK and France, these external actors who supply weapons and logistical support to the Saudi-led coalition, could also be held accountable. That's a very serious indictment, isn't it?
Well, they are completely intricate to the Saudi-led coalition's bombing campaign in Yemen. The Saudis and the Emiratis don't manufacture their own weapons. They don't train their own soldiers. They don't, up until recently, they weren't refueling their jets mid-air. So they rely on US and UK and French weapons and intelligence and military support extensively. They will not be able to continue waging war to this extent in Yemen without the complete backing of US and UK weapons and intelligence.
Some US lawmakers, like Senator Bernie Sanders, have tried to block US weapons sales to the Saudis. Is this likely to become an election issue in the US in the run-up to the elections, do you think?
It absolutely should be an election issue. Senator Bernie Sanders has led the fight toward ending the U.S.'s involvement in the war by passing the War Powers Resolution. We've seen a bipartisan support in the House and the Senate for this act. Unfortunately, it was vetoed by President Trump, who continues to violate the Constitution. This war goes against the Constitution. He is not allowed to continue waging this war without congressional support, yet he still manages to do that. Both he and the Trump and the Obama administration have been violating the Constitution in this war. So I think it absolutely should be a campaign issue, and every candidate running for president should outline very clearly their plan for ending the war in Yemen, and they should be held responsible toward ending the war in Yemen right away.
Shireen Al-Adeimi, thank you very much indeed for talking to Al Jazeera.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the whereabouts of